In photography, people often say it's all about capturing light. But what does that really mean? And how can you understand this concept and, more importantly, express it through your photos? That's what we'll be exploring in this video, and hopefully by the end of it, you'll have a brand new way of looking at the world in a way that you've never seen before, and hopefully your images will improve because of it. Now in this video, first we'll talk about why it's important to be able to read light as a photographer. Then we'll go into 5 very distinct attributes about light and how to understand it. We'll talk about quality, direction, intensity, color, and finally, contrast. The quality of light is, in my opinion, the most important aspect of light. This refers to whether the light is soft or hard, and it should not be confused with the intensity of light, which we will discuss later. Soft light is gentle, with smooth transitions, low contrast, and shadows that are very soft and diffused. On the other hand, hard light is sharp, striking, producing strong, defined shadows with very high contrast. This type of light usually adds a lot of drama and boldness to a scene. Now, each type of light has their own unique strengths and weaknesses and creates different moods, making them suitable for many different situations. For example, soft light is perfect for flattering portraits or enhancing colors in a scene or creating a sense of tenderness and romance. Hard light, on the other hand, is amazing for emphasizing structure, creating intense drama or making a subject stand out boldly. Soft light can be created by diffusing a light source. Now, diffusion occurs when you place a transparent or translucent material in front of the light, scattering it out and creating a softer effect. In studios, photographers use tools like umbrellas or softboxes to achieve this. Now, in nature, clouds act as natural diffusers, which is why overcast days provide such soft and even light. You can also find soft light in shaded areas during times of day like early sunrise or late sunset or times like that. Hard light is the opposite. It occurs when light is focused and direct without any diffusion at all. In the studio, this can be achieved with tools like barn doors or by focusing the light source to create a narrow focus and intense beam. Outdoors, hard light often occurs when sunlight is channeled between buildings or filtered through small gaps like trees and rocks, creating very sharp contrasts and very defined patterns. Now, a very useful tip for understanding light quality is to observe the exact same scene at different times of day. Early in the morning or late in the afternoon, the light is way softer and much more diffuse, while midday sun tends to be super harsh and super direct, casting very strong, pronounced shadows. You can also experiment with artificial lighting setups to see how adjusting for soft or hard light changes the overall look of your photo. By learning to recognize and control the quality of light, you'll have the tools to dramatically influence the mood and the style of your photography. Understanding the direction of light can be a huge unlock for many photographers. Light can come from anywhere, above, below, the side, in front, behind your subject. Each direction changes how a photo feels. Front lighting, where the light is shining directly at your subject, makes it evenly lit and minimizes any shadows, which are perfect for clear, detailed portraits. Side lighting adds depth and texture by creating very strong shadows and highlights, which are also great for dramatic and moody photos. Backlighting can create amazing silhouettes or a dreamy glow around your subject if the light source is strong enough. Overhead lighting, like from the midday sun, can cast harsh shadows under the eyes and the nose, while upward lighting is far less common but gives off a eerie, mysterious vibe, like from your favorite horror movie. All of these different directions can help tell a different story, depending on what you're trying to create as a photographer. When we have control over our light source, like here in the studio, it's easy to experiment with moving that light source around and seeing how different placements change the look in a portrait setting. However, when we're outside, we don't usually have control over the light. And in this instance, the skill is being able to spot the direction that the light is shining from and then orienting our subjects based on that direction. Sometimes we want our subjects to move through the light, or maybe face a certain direction, or maybe even play with or walk along the light as well. The direction of light has an interplay with your subject and can greatly affect the mood of your photo. So get out there and start recognizing the different directions light comes from. And in addition to the quality of light, you can really start to take control over your photography. When understanding how to read light, intensity might seem like a pretty easy thing to understand, but sometimes it's not. The intensity of light refers to how bright or how dim the light is. Bright light, like the midday sun, is super strong and can make your photos look crisp and colorful, but it can also cause very harsh shadows or overexposed spots where details are lost. Dim light, on the other hand, like during sunset or during sunrise or inside a room at night, usually that kind of light is softer and cozier, but it can also cause you to lose too much detail in the shadows if there isn't enough ambient light. The intensity of light is not to be confused with the quality of light, which is how soft or hard that light is. A soft light can still be bright and intense, and a hard light can still be dim and subtle. Creatively, the intensity of light affects where your viewer's eyes go in a photo. Bright highlights always grab attention, and dim highlights can inversely create a mysterious or calming effect. If you are outside and you don't have control over the light, you'll need to rely on your camera settings to manage it. This is where the exposure triangle comes into play. The exposure triangle involves adjusting your aperture, shutter speed, and ISO to properly expose your photo. If you are unfamiliar with this concept, I've linked a video in the description to help you understand it better. The way you handle intensity can also influence the mood of your photos as well. For example, slightly underexposing a bright scene can add drama, while overexposing a dimly lit scene can make it feel soft and ethereal. I always slightly underexpose all of my images as a personal kind of mood because I like the color and the drama and the increased contrast that it brings. Experiment with how intensity interacts with your subject and your background. You can even layer different intensities of light in a single image, such as using a dark foreground with a brighter background to create depth and contrast. Practicing this will teach you just how to shape your light intensity for a stronger emotional impact in your work. Did you know that light isn't always white? It has different colors depending on the source and the time of day. Warm light, like golden light during sunrise or sunset, feels very cozy and nostalgic. Cool light, like the bluish tones you might see in the shade or under LED lights, feels very calm or distant. Indoor lighting can also vary as well. Tungsten bulbs give off a very warm orange glow, while fluorescent lights are much cooler and sometimes even a little bit greenish. Color temperature is measured in what's called Kelvin. Warm colors have lower Kelvin values, like candlelight at 1500 K. Cooler light has higher Kelvin values, like the blue sky at 10,000 K. Your camera's white balance setting helps you adjust for these differences. You can make colors look more natural, or you can use the color temperature creatively to help set the mood. For example, you can enhance the warm tones of a sunset to make it feel extra magical, or embrace the cool tones of a snowy scene for a surreal look. Play around with your camera settings and notice how different colors of light change the feeling of your photos. Understanding the color of light also helps when you're working in mixed lighting conditions, like when you're indoors with both natural light from a window and artificial light from a lamp. Mixing warm and cool tones can create a pretty cool, unique look, but it might clash if not balanced properly. Make sure to shoot raw so that you can fix these inconsistencies in post-production and then balance them out there. Colors also have implied meanings depending on the culture it's viewed from as well. In the West, we can sometimes associate the color red with feelings of passion, heat, and aggression, or blue with the feelings of calm and melancholy and stoicism. This is called color theory, and I will leave a link to a video in the description if you would like to learn more. Identifying the location and the meaning of color is something that takes perhaps the longest time to understand and to use at a high level, so be patient with this one. But once you get it, you'll have so much control over all of your photos, it'll be completely worth every second of time you spent learning it. Light interacts in the world with so many different ways. It doesn't just shine in a straight line, it bounces and reflects and it scatters, depending on what it hits, of course. For example, light reflecting off water creates very cool shimmery effects, and light shining through leaves makes dappled patterns on the ground. Fog or mist scatters light, making everything look very soft and dreamy, and reflected light from buildings can make things look illuminated in ways that you just don't expect. Understanding how light interacts with objects helps you create far more interesting photos. Paying attention to how this light is casted can help you find hidden gems in everyday scenes. A puddle after the rain can reflect the sky or nearby buildings, creating a mirror effect. Light passing through colored glass, for example, can cast vibrant hues on the wall or on floors. Shadows cast by objects like fences or trees or blinds can create unique patterns that add visual interest to a composition. These interactions aren't just cool to look at, they also add layers and depth to your photo and interest. The trick here is that casted light is kind of like a game of collecting cards. Once you've paid attention to how light behaves in a particular environment, you can add that pattern to a mental deck of cards that you can recall every time you pass by a similar scenario. Over time, when you've collected many of these cards or situations, you can recall them often, and then you can walk into any scene and recognize something to help you make your photos stand out. This is the genesis of the foundation of how you build a style. Something that, again, I've talked about at length on the channel and have a video for you to watch if you are interested in learning more. So explore, the more you do it, the more you'll find opportunities to turn everyday scenes into something magical. And that's it. Light quality, direction, intensity, color, and cast. And we're at the very end. I hope you found this video useful because learning to read the light is one of the most important skills in photography and takes a lot of practice to get right. And hopefully when you get out there next, you'll start noticing all the different aspects of light absolutely everywhere, and your photos will be dramatically improved from it, hopefully. Let me know what kind of light is your favorite light to work with in the comments below, and we can all help each other out to become better photographers for it. I'll see you in the next video, but until then, get out there and make something that matters. Peace.